Could the 76ers be preparing to cut their losses on one of the most disappointing superstar signings in recent memory, potentially sending Paul George to Hollywood in a move that would either save Philadelphia's future or saddle the Lakers with basketball's most expensive question mark? The whispers coming out of Philadelphia are getting louder, and they're not pretty. Paul George, the man who was supposed to be the missing piece alongside Joel Embiid, has become more of a cautionary tale than a championship catalyst. With only 41 games played this season, averaging a career-low 16, 2 points per game, and carrying a contract that would make even the wealthiest owners wince, George has transformed from superstar acquisition to salary cap nightmare faster than anyone could have imagined. Let's be brutally honest about what we're witnessing in Philadelphia right now. This isn't just about a player having a down year or dealing with some unlucky injuries. This is about a franchise realizing they might have made a catastrophic miscalculation that could haunt them for the next 3 seasons unless they act decisively. The numbers tell a story that 76ers fans probably don't want to hear but need to face. George is 16. 2 points per game represents his lowest scoring average since returning from a devastating leg injury back in 2014-15. His 41 games played marks the 5th time in 6 years he's failed to reach 60 games, which is absolutely unacceptable for someone earning superstar money. Even more damaging, when he did share the court with Embiid, they only managed a 7-8 record in those 15 games together. The injury timeline reads like a medical textbook of disappointment. Hyperextended left knee in the preseason cost him the first 5 games. November brought aggravation of that same knee for 3 more missed games. January introduced a left pinky finger injury. After the All-Star break, persistent left groin pain sidelined him for 4 additional games. Finally, on March 17, 2025, he received injections in his left adductor and knee before being shut down for the remainder of the season. This isn't just bad luck, folks. This is a pattern that suggests George's body might be breaking down at the exact moment when the 76ers need him most. Meanwhile, Philadelphia has been watching their championship window potentially close while paying premium dollars for premium disappointment. Now here's where this gets really interesting from a trade perspective. The proposed deals floating around involve either swapping George for LeBron James straight up or sending multiple Lakers role players to Philadelphia in exchange for George and young center Adam Bona. Both scenarios create fascinating implications for how each franchise views their immediate and long-term futures. The LeBron for George swap would be absolutely wild from a basketball storyline's perspective. We'd be talking about 2 aging superstars essentially switching places, with LeBron potentially getting one final shot at championship glory in the Eastern Conference, while George tries to revitalize his career alongside the Lakers supporting cast. But the practical challenges here are enormous. George's contract is a financial albatross that runs through multiple seasons at roughly $50 million per year. For the Lakers to absorb that kind of salary commitment, they need to believe that George can return to his All-NBA form and stay healthy for extended periods. Based on his recent track record, that's a massive gamble that could backfire spectacularly. The alternative package involving Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and Maxi Kleber presents a completely different risk-reward calculation. Philadelphia would be getting multiple rotation-caliber players instead of one expensive superstar, while also creating significant salary cap flexibility for the 2026 offseason. This approach prioritizes depth and financial freedom over star power, which might be exactly what the 76ers need given their current circumstances. From the Lakers' perspective, acquiring George represents a fascinating all-in move that could either catapult them to championship contention or saddle them with one of the worst contracts in basketball. George's skill set, when healthy, would complement their existing core beautifully. His size, shooting ability, and two-way potential could provide exactly what they need to compete with the Western Conference's elite teams. But that's a massive when healthy qualifier that cannot be ignored. George has shown an alarming inability to stay on the court consistently, and his performance when he does play has been declining. The Lakers will be betting roughly $150 million over 3 seasons that they can unlock the version of Paul George that was a legitimate MVP candidate with the Clippers just a few years ago. The timing aspect makes this even more complex. If LeBron James is genuinely considering his options and might be open to a change of scenery, then the Lakers trading him for George could represent a philosophical shift from relying on aging superstars to building around younger talent. But it could also mean they're simply trading one aging star with injury concerns for another aging star with even worse injury concerns. Philadelphia's motivation here is crystal clear. They're looking at George's contract and seeing 3 more years of potentially paying maximum dollars for minimum production. The young talent they've accumulated, Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and VJ Edgecombe, represent a much more promising foundation for sustainable success. Getting any value in return for George while escaping his contract would be a front office victory. The chemistry concerns cannot be overlooked either. George and Embiid have struggled to develop the kind of seamless partnership that championship duos require. Their limited time together hasn't produced the offensive synergy that justifies keeping both players on maximum contracts. Sometimes basketball fit matters more than individual talent, and this pairing might simply not work regardless of health. For the Lakers, the decision comes down to their confidence in their medical staff and player development systems. They need to believe they can keep George healthy and motivated in ways that Philadelphia apparently couldn't. That's a significant assumption given his recent history and the physical demands of competing in the Western Conference. The salary cap implications extend far beyond just these two players. Taking on George's contract would limit the Lakers' flexibility for years, potentially preventing them from making other moves that could better complement their core. Meanwhile, Philadelphia could use the financial freedom to pursue multiple complementary pieces instead of being married to one expensive, unreliable star. There's also the question of leadership and locker room dynamics. George has faced criticism throughout his career for his performance in crucial moments, while LeBron brings championship experience and proven clutch gene factor. Would the Lakers be downgrading their veteran leadership by making this swap? The medical evaluation process would be absolutely crucial if this trade gains serious traction. George's injury history demands extensive scrutiny from the Lakers' medical team before they commit to his long-term contract. One more significant injury could turn this trade from calculated risk to franchise-crippling mistake. Here's the uncomfortable truth that both franchises need to confront. This trade would represent acknowledgement from Philadelphia that their George experiment failed, while the Lakers would be betting they can succeed where the 76ers couldn't. That kind of confidence either comes from superior medical knowledge, better player development systems, or dangerous overconfidence. The Western Conference competition makes this decision even more challenging for the Lakers. They'd be committing significant resources to a player who might not be physically capable of competing at the level necessary to challenge teams like the defending champions and other elite contenders. Is an injury-prone Paul George really the missing piece for a championship run? But if George can somehow return to his peak form, this trade could be transformational for the Lakers' championship aspirations. His two-way ability and playoff experience, when healthy, represent exactly the kind of impact player that can swing playoff series. The question is whether that upside justifies the enormous financial and competitive risks. Should the Lakers roll the dice on Paul George's injury-riddled career, or would they be better off maintaining their current flexibility? Is this the kind of calculated gamble that wins championships, or the type of mistake that sets franchises back for years? Let me know what you think in the comments, and smash that like button if this breakdown has you as conflicted about this potential blockbuster as every GM should be.